Today we're making a video on how to make tomato sauce. Basically we're going to be making it from scratch. Um, First thing you want to get ready is the raw tomatoes. These ones are already cut and seeded. And another important tool you're going to need if you want to make it from scratch is the tomato press. And the next part will be grinding the tomatoes. And once you're done processing the tomatoes um, in the tomato press, it should look something like this. And the pulp is there. You can run the pulp through again, but my machine does a pretty good job of squeezing out a lot of juice the first time. And in this recipe I used 10 kilograms of tomatoes and yielded about 3 to 4 liters of tomato pulp, which is going to be used to make the sauce. That's obviously the base. In the next part, we will start cooking the sauce and getting it ready to be jarred, so you can keep it preserved. So in this part, we're gonna start getting ready the sauce for jarring. You're gonna want to put them in jars because it's gonna obviously help to preserve it. And in this method we're gonna be using a water bath method. And we're gonna boil the jars submerged in the water for about 45 minutes since these are pint-sized jars. So I'm just gonna go through the things that you probably are gonna need, and I just want to point out one thing before I get started, and it's that I know everyone has their own way of making sauce, and I know people can be very, very particular about how you make your sauce. But this is just a general guide, and this is the way that I was taught. So going forward, some of the things you're gonna need is jars filled with that's basil, fresh basil inside. Behind that there's some chopped garlic, the sauce that we pureed earlier, obviously, the big enough pot so that you can process the jars. We're gonna fry garlic in that pan, and then the lids, some olive oil. I would really suggest using olive oil, not any kind of oil, just to give it the authentic flavor, and anything else just won't taste the same. A little bit of sea salt and oregano. So this is a pretty straightforward recipe, but I promise you it'll taste amazing. So the first thing you want to do is fry the garlic in the oil. I used about 2 to 3 cloves per jar. So I'm planning to make about 6 jars, so I have about 12 cloves of garlic. Um, be generous with the amount of oil that you use. Obviously, not too much, you don't want it to be oily, but the olive oil adds a really nice taste to it. Okay, so you want to heat up the puree because once you jar it, you want the finished sauce to be boiling when you jar it and get it ready for the water bath. I added 3 heaping tablespoons of oregano for 6 to 7 jars that I plan on making, and 3 teaspoons of salt. So it's not that much. You don't want it to um, be over any one ingredient to be too overpowering. So keep stirring it until it starts to boil, and then it'll be ready for jarring. So my sauce was coming out a bit chunkier than I would prefer. If you like it like that, great. It's still gonna taste the same essentially. It's just I didn't really like the consistency. So what I ended up doing was using an immersion blender. Don't use a regular blender. Use an immersion blender to just mix everything and get it more liquidy. If you like it that way, or if you like it chunky, you can just leave it the way it was originally. So you can let the sauce simmer for a little bit to gather all the flavor together. I cooked mine for about half an hour, but now it's boiling and it's going to be ready to be jarred. Obviously, it's going to be extremely hot, so please be careful. So I ended up getting 6 jars, and now I'm gonna put the lids on really carefully and then put them into the water bath. So now that the jars are all sealed, make sure you seal it really tight. We're gonna put them into the water bath now. I would suggest adding a little bit of vinegar, white vinegar. So now we're gonna jar the jars in the water bath that they're sealed here. Make sure they're really tight, and then just add a little bit of vinegar to the water before you start. It helps sterilize the jars. So I'll see how many I can fit in this particular pot. Hopefully I can fit all 6 of them. We'll see. So for now, I'll just do 4 of them and then process it for 45 minutes. And then I'll do the other 2 later. So if you're gonna be doing a huge batch, obviously you're gonna need a massive pot for this part, or you're gonna have to do them in batches. But yeah, make sure it's submerged 45 minutes, and then they'll be sealed, and then you could probably preserve it on the shelf. I would say 3 to 4 months, but as soon as it's open, like, you have to make sure to keep it in the fridge. And 3 to 4 months is just a guideline. It could last longer, could last a little bit less. Remember, there's like 0 preservatives in this recipe. The only method we're using to preserve it is the water bath method. So there we have it. Once you pull the jars out of the boiling water, just let them sit for uh, about overnight, like 24 hours or so, and then they'll be ready. And that's the end of the video. I really hope that you enjoyed watching, and hopefully I made your sauce making experience a lot better and a lot easier.